Okay, got it. So, thank you. Okay, so welcome again to this KITT4SME webinar on the Type B open code that will be the main topic for today. I'm Andrea Bettoni, I'm the coordinator of the project. I work at the University of Applied Sciences and Arts of Southern Switzerland, like Zeki has just reminded us, and I've been active in many European projects during my career, and this is the project I'm coordinating now. It's a project about bringing AI solutions, bringing the artificial intelligence to the small and medium enterprises. This is going to be the topic for today. So talking about AI, when we started the project, we wanted to understand what is the landscape out there, what are SMEs doing in order to adopt AI, whether they are interested in that. So we went out and started a survey in order to understand not only if at technological level the companies were actually making use of AI solutions, but also to understand whether they are building those building blocks that allow those pillars that allow AI solutions to be adopted. So that all comes into the digitalization of their production system, the smartification of their equipment that operate in the shop floor, the building of a data strategy to handle the huge amount of data that is necessary in order to have a workable AI solution. If they're actually taking care of people, because this is a transition that is going to be huge for the people that operate in manufacturing shop floor. So there will be no AI transition without proper upskilling of these people. And obviously, if at organizational level, this is a big transition that requires changes also in this compartment of companies, and it also requires a change in the culture of the company. So I will go obviously very briefly because today we have a lot of topics, but we have a few results. We surveyed 39 companies in the manufacturing sectors coming from different industries, and we realized that a vast majority of them, they already are focused on data collection, on digitalization of their manufacturing processes. So this is something that has already come through even to small and medium enterprises. But only 1/3 of them are actually defining a strategy for AI adoption. So this is a topic that is more and more being relevant to them, but this is still something at the embryonic phase. Nearly half of them have solutions, so that also means that nearly half of them don't have AI solutions in their shop floor. And one of the most lacking things is the upskilling of operators, which is only one company in 10 are actually doing. So we identified a few barriers. Lack of data. This is commonly widespread. We have a lot of AI solution providers. You all know that when you go to a company and start to make this kind of new technology uptake, you realize that actually you don't have the data to do it. The solutions are still too complex and they are not customized. So we KITT4SME, we want to offer customized solutions, especially because we're talking about small entities that need to have something specific to their needs. And obviously, we have the problem that I already mentioned about underskilling of employees. And we need models to have a complete assessment of the introduction of AI in, say, from a business perspective along the whole life cycle of the usage of these solutions. So with KITT4SME, what are we trying to do? We are trying to build a platform that allows SME to assess Full packages, that means the AI software, the hardware needed to operate it, the organizational kits to transform their company so that they can actually make use of AI. Starting from modules that we offer and that we compose between themselves starting from what we have in the platform. In terms of numbers, okay, KITT4SME is a project that has been funded by the European Union. It was in the, let's say, over the tail of the Horizon 2020 program. You know that now we have started the new Horizon Europe program, but KITT4SME is still one of the last projects from the previous program. Out of these 80 million, 2.5 million are dedicated to SMEs through this cascade funding mechanism that we are discussing today in this webinar. What we offer is funding at a 70% rate that is equity-free. We already have in the consortium 18 partners from 8 different countries in Europe. We have 4 digital innovation hubs that are helping us reach the companies out there. And we are already experimenting within our project in 4 internal pilots with SMEs in manufacturing. We will hear from Salvatore Alivesi a testimony of one of these demonstrations. Obviously, we belong to a bigger framework, that is the I4MS framework. That is a program that the European Union made for bringing ICT innovation available to manufacturing companies that are small or medium. We are part of phase 4, which was funded with 34 million, and we are one of the 8 projects that are in this moment operating in this framework. That is, as you see, 84% of the industrial partners are SMEs dedicated to this kind of companies that are making the backbone of the European manufacturing sector. So how does KITT4SME operate? How does it provide its offer to companies? We basically leverage our network of digital innovation hubs, and we offer through this funding mechanism the possibility to SMEs, either a solution provider that wants to have their solution tested by some and demonstrated by some companies, and at the same time we offer the same possibility to manufacturing and user companies to play, let's say, to demonstrate, to integrate in their shop floor some AI solution to create success stories that they can use in order to initiate their journey towards artificial intelligence. So we have in the companies, as I said, 4 digital innovation hubs and 3 regional innovation ecosystem that talk the same language of the companies in their network. We have already SMEs that pointed out their needs, manufacturing SMEs that pointed out their needs so that we could create customized solutions for them. We have AI experts, obviously, from different countries in Europe, bringing heterogeneous solutions already to what is the embryonic offer of our KITT4SME platform. And we have a very important set of IT experts that are building the infrastructure of the KITT4SME platform so that we can make available those solutions and the ones that we are aggregating with these open calls to potential users. So what kind of AI? AI is a very broad area, very broad technology. Basically, we are exploring. So there are very different solutions that we have already in consortium. Why that? Because the needs of the companies are very different from one from another. So as you may see already in the 4 pilots that we have in the core consortium of KITT4SME, we have very different problems and we have very different solutions that we are integrating in their production systems. And let's talk about the value proposition of KITT4SME. And let's talk about it starting from a real story. So the story let's imagine of a startup that operates in the AI solution business that is as expert able to create a workable and successful AI model. But then they need to bring it to their customers. And this is the part in which most of these projects actually fail. Why that? Because the artificial intelligence pipeline is not only the first two blocks in which you obviously prepare the data, you develop the model, but there are a lot of further steps downstream that needs to be taken in order to reach your customer and make your solution available. Then obviously the first steps in which you create the data sets, in which you work on them, you cure them, you polish them, and you develop a model that makes sense of the data. This is the most important part, because this is the part in which the value is created. We have seen with this trend of the Industry 4.0 that companies have struggled a lot in order to make their industrial system, industrial IoT systems. But then how do we exploit this data? AI can be a potent mean in order to extract value from data. And data scientists and AI experts are very good at that, and they like to do it, but it's not enough. You need to package the model, you need to validate that model, you need to deploy that model, which requires a lot of skills that are not those of the AI experts, because you need to integrate with the company legacy systems, you need to maintain an infrastructure that is able to do all this stuff. And you need to be efficient in that, because you cannot promise to your customer to have the solution done, demonstrated in a short video with some data that you have done in your company, your AI provider company, and then make them wait 4 months before this is actually available. So efficiency here is the key. And finally, you have the usage phase. When we did the interviews, we soon realized that the main concern of SME manufacturing companies about the introduction of this AI is what happens if the AI model that is now driving some of my processes in the production system fails. We really need to make sure that we always have available the solution, because I cannot stop my production because some AI component is not working anymore. So this is the only phase that your customer actually see, and this is where they perceive the value that you have created. And you need to provide this sort of reliability and availability of the solution. So the value proposition of KITT4SME is to support solution providers in taking care of all the downstream steps, from the packaging of the model down to the usage of the model by their own customers. So we want them to focus on what they're good at, and we want to provide support through our platform so that they can always make sure the solutions are working at their customers. And talking about IT solutions, I leave the floor to Giuseppe Landolfi, our AI and IT expert, that will talk about the infrastructure of the KITT4SME platform.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me try to share my screen. Okay, please confirm if you are able to see my screen, my presentation.
Yes,
we see it.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, my name is Giuseppe Landolfi. I'm a lecturer and researcher in SUPSI, and I'm here today to talk about the KITT4SME cloud platform. First of all, I would like to start with an analogy. So we have developers able to create amazing application based on artificial intelligence, exactly how Andrea presented before. Those developers need a solid software infrastructure for running successfully and on a large scale. So if we compare apps to brain, we still have a body to interact with the world and do useful things. Once the artificial intelligence model is ready, is developed, actually there are still a lot of things that have to be done, like how to exchange data with the factory, how to ensure communication between services, how to define distribution pipeline to go to the production, how to scale the infrastructure in order to manage load spikes, for example, and how to sell the apps. The easiest solution, which is also what we propose here, is to let someone else take care of all those aspects for you. This slide is meant to show what is body, the gray part of the diagram, and what is the brain, the orange one. The body is part of the body of this architecture is the KITT4SME platform plus the ramp marketplace, while the brains are for sure the AI application. In the following slide, every aspect of the architecture will be highlighted in orange. Basically, we want to indicate what we expect from AI developers, what we expect from AI applications to ensure that they can be easily integrated with the rest of the architecture. So, okay. So the KITT4SME platform is a platform based on a cloud multi-tenant architecture, which provide services mesh for, first of all, assemble AI components from a marketplace into a customized tailor-made services offering for a factory. Second, to connect them to the shop floor. And third, last but not least, enable them to store and exchange data in an interoperable, secure, privacy-preserving, and scalable way. How we can do that? Obviously, it makes no sense to reinvent the wheel and develop everything from scratch. For that reason, we leverage on state-of-the-art already existing technology to create a platform that works in the ground and support AI components. We have Kubernetes and Istio, which provide the service mesh infrastructure. Then we have the Fiverr, which represent the Internet of Things backbone. And last, we have the Ramp, which is our marketplace. So here we can see Kubernetes, we can see Istio, Fiverr, and Ramp. If we want to go in detail, Kubernetes is the mesh infrastructure. Basically, they are software components meant to orchestrate the implementation and the operation of the services. This layer provides a uniform and programmable interface of the computational resources such as CPU, memory, and storage across all nodes belonging to the cluster. Moreover, the mesh infrastructure gives us a programmable interface also to manage traffic between services. As mentioned before, we have Fiverr, which is an open source platform meant to manage IoT-based application. It provides a set of components, elements used to collect data from the factory and create what we call the digital twin of the factory, so the digital representation of the factory. These services can be used to query and manipulate the physical device at factory site. As you can see, the Fiverr stack runs on top of the mesh infrastructure. In this layer, we can also find other kind of services also provided by Fiverr, like the Ryan Context Broker, which is meant to save context data and measurements that will be shared from the factory. Last but not least, we have in the top right corner the Ramp Marketplace, which is a digital marketplace where smart industry solution providers can make their application available to the manufacturing industries. So the KITT4SME platform is made by a set of loosely coupled web services. Most of them run in a cluster environment, but if needed, especially for performance and reliability services reasons, some services might run on premises at factory site, but even integrated with the rest of the platform. In any case, a platform service is a distinct part of the platform that provides some functionality through a set of software processes and data storages. API encapsulate service implementation and manage service interaction, while policies control service access and usage. Basically, we have two different kinds of services. Application services at one side, such as, for example, anomaly detection service or monitoring dashboard, and of course, the AI application as part of the KITT4SME workflow. At the other side, we have the infrastructure services meant to support the operation of application services, such as the service provided by Fiverr that I presented before, or the AI frameworks like TensorFlow. So developers, thanks to the KITT4SME platform, can focus on the creation of their own AI components, while KITT4SME manages the general purpose infra services on which the AI components rely on. So in order to allow an easy integration of the AI components, there are some basic requirements that those services must follow. First of all, services expose their functionality through a set of REST-based web services. Second, a service makes its data available as web resources. over HTTP by means of CRUD operation in order to have a uniform mechanism to invoke cooperation across all services. Third, service client communication should be stateless. So if developers follow these simple rules, the platform can insert proxy application in between services and then provide extra functionalities like caching, security, load balancing, monitoring, and so on. These extra functionality basically come for free for developers because are already implemented and inserted into the KITT4SME architecture within the mesh infrastructure. So a service developer can focus on implementing service-specific features. The dashed arrow, orange arrows, represent the virtual HTTP communication among the platform services, while the actual messages travel through the solid lines, so as to create an interception network, what we call as interception network, for allowing proxy application that I mentioned before to process the exchanges data, the exchanges messages, and improve the overall quality of service. As mentioned before, okay, let me just move the bar. As mentioned before, thanks to this interception network, the mesh infrastructure can provide services with a lot of extra functionality, such as functionality related to the traffic management. We have the message routing, the load balancing, and so on. Other services related to the security management. So as mentioned before, the access control, the MTLS, and so on. A set of services related to the observability. So for monitoring the message flow and the performances, and a set of functionality for improved performances and recovery from failures. These services provided by the mesh infrastructure are placed in a layer immediately below that one related to the data management, as you can see in this slide. Another important feature functionality provided by the KITT4SME platform is the multi-tenancy approach. Many manufacturing companies share the same cloud. Each company gets its own security protection domain, which is the tenant, of course. So where data users are isolated from other data users belonging to another tenant. Obviously, if needed, the sharing of users and data among tenants is still possible, but it has to be managed by the platform through security and sharing policies agreed by all involved tenants, for sure. Another advantage in using a multi-tenant architecture is that the involved tenant can share platform computing resources and infrastructure services in a controlled way, of course. Computer resources like CPU, memory, storage, network get shared through the same underlying physical and virtual computing facilities. And moreover, the platform can reassign computer resources dynamically according to the demand. Finally, tenants can also share the same instances of the platform. So the same infra services like the firewall middleware, like the backend database, and so on. So this diagram highlights two different companies using the same KITT4SME platform instance. Each company has its own AI kit, but both kits share the same computing resources, mesh infrastructure and platform services. Why so much sharing? The short answer is to make our services affordable, even to the small factory, to the small manufacturing companies on a budget. Okay, so basically sharing IT resources and infrastructure services is a way to drastically reduce computation and operational costs. The overhead of services processing hardware and the operation are distributed across the connecting tenants. And last, the resource allocation avoids the underusage of the system. So another important requirement that the AI components and then the AI developers has to follow is related to deployment. All services need to be deployed as a container images, such as a Docker container, for example, a Docker image. In this way, we can easily publish them and automate the distribution process from the marketplace. So the KITT4SME platform provides a set of services that allow users to profile the company and collect the requirements, the needs of the company through an adaptive equation, which is also based which is also supported by an artificial intelligence logic. The platform then is able to recommend, to suggest a series of services based on the creator profile. These services should also guide the end user to define a kit that best fits their needs, exactly how Andrea presented before. If the business owner agrees to publish the configured kit, the platform automatically deploys it in the cloud. This is done by means of the DevOps pipeline, where the code is organized and made available in a Git repository. So, in summary, the best practices to follow for developing an application integrated with the KITT4SME platform are, first of all, use best desired technology stack for your services. Then hide heterogeneity behind the REST APIs. Third, embrace, use NGSI to interact with the shop floor. Package your service, your application, a Docker image, and last, stick to the runtime guidelines. Thank you for your attention. That's all from me.
Thank you, Giuseppe. For the, I think it's very clarifying for the AI providers on which tools that they should use and if they want to integrate their solution into the KITT4SME platform. So yeah. I would like to move to the next presentation. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Salvatore Alivesi, the Chief Operating Officer on Idealtech. So the floor is yours, Salvatore.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Salvatore.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, this is Salvatore Alivesi. I'm an engineer. I'm the Chief Operational Officer of Idealtech. We are based in Switzerland, and I will try to give you some hint on what kind of value a small, medium enterprise like us see in artificial intelligence. So we are a manufacturing company. We have been established in 1964, and we have a size of 59 employees. Our range.
Salvatore, I'm very sorry. We cannot hear your screen, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Can you hear me, but you cannot see it?
We cannot see the screen. If you can share your presentation again, maybe.
Yeah, of course. Again. Here. Share.
It's coming.
Is it working?
Yes.
Now, yes.
Okay, so here we are from the point of view of a manufacturing end user. And here we are. So this is our company established in 1964. We are around 59 employees, and we are manufacturer of precision hand tools. We make basically tweezers and side cutters, and to serve worldwide application around the globe through the big distribution. We serve market like medical device manufacturer, watchmaker, life science laboratory, main electronic component assembly system. So something that really define us is that we have a very broad range of products and around 800 product variants. And our proposition is based on high quality and high service level in our capability to personalize and engineer the products. Same tool can be used for multiple applications. And we need to be focused since 1964 to protect the value proposition on which we state that we can be able to supply and deliver the same tool since 1964. And this through a manufacturing process. So our production process, the high value of it is mainly manual. And still, this is the more convenient way we did find to supply a broad range of product variants. So up to now, work skills and experience are the most relevant critical success factor influencing production performance in terms of productivity, quality, and lead time. And this is why we define ourselves artisanal manufacturers. So I push this concept because so far AI is very far from our world, where the product is made mainly manual. Well, what I've been doing in the late few years, we've been trying to use data to drive our manufacturing process. So we start collecting data in different company environment, of course, from sale, from logistic, but back to production. We use business intelligence application to make reporting, analysis, data mining, data interpretation, and we make some predictive analysis. At the same time, we try to collect this data also to formalize our manual artisan process. And this is where the AI starts getting noticed from a company of our side. We have been starting to formalize every single item we have on production and making digital and deploying this information to every single worker in the production. So we start storing in a reliable system, and we start sharing on different using different tools on the production floor. The aim of this is to protect our know-how and to lean this information across the our value chain, from production to marketing to end user. But of course, we face many challenges. We have a lack of competencies to select and effectively adopt the proper solution available on the market. Of course, we do have difficulty in finding a trusted partner that we can rely on, and the lack of found and resource to manage alone the whole AI adoption process. When I talk about AI on our production flow and value chain process, I'm talking about somehow a magic box that will help us to make something that up to now in our company is does rely on a human being. And so the challenge and the task of verify if this tool is properly designed, is properly manufactured. Now we would like to have an AI system helping us to check if this is true or this is false. And so far, this is the main task we gave to the symposium, the KITT4SME consortium, sorry, to solve ourselves. Now, what is the value that KITT4SME bring to us? First of all, overcoming the lack of trust of AI by creating effective and real solution. So AI solution that you have on the market, as has been stated for my predecessors on the presentation, they are not designed on our solution. So we need something that is really custom on our product, and we need winning case to put in place a solution in the production process in order to gain confidence on our staff. And this is where the culture of the company really start changing. I mean, to gain the trust that AI solution can provide value on the company value stream. So we need a trusted and experienced partner that can support the effective and efficient adoption of the right AI solution, fitting our needs, context, and requirement. KITT4SME also give us a set of customized modules that fit with the specific needs, as I did mention. Is offering a wide ecosystem of developers, system integrators, manufacturing companies, and DIAs with which exchange point of view and start business relations. And again, gave us funds that can support the adoption of solutions that usually are outside the traditional scope of SME. Again, this is really important because having funds really allow us to lower the barrier to allow AI solution to step into a small, medium enterprise ecosystem. And of course, extremely important, it gives us a methodology and tools to elicit our needs, focusing on what really matters for our business. Again, I go through all this value that KITT4SME brings to us is lower the interest level to AI solution, helping us to move the culture and to help the small medium enterprise to step in the competitive advantage of AI solution, giving us a winning case, making a pilot, being a pilot on KITT4SME consortium is helping me to build my own winning business case in order to gain trust to change the culture of the company towards AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Salvatore, for the valuable presentation. I think it's helpful to understand the AI providers, how their solutions will touch the manufacturing industry, especially the SMEs like you. Thank you very much for the presentation. Now, before we go on to the next presentation, I would like to remind you to rename yourself in Zoom, especially by mentioning your type, because by the time that Salvatore making this presentation, we have worked on creating the breakout rooms for you to matchmake. You are going to be able to meet with the providers and the manufacturing end users and the networks. You will also you will all find the chance to meet yourselves. But in order to do that, we need to know if you are a network or an end user or an AI provider. So the next presentation will be from Mrs. Davorka Mostavac from Iceland, from Croatia. She is also running a DIH and has a lot of companies of end users and AI manufacturers. So she's going to explain you how the DIHs have a role in the KITT4SME platform. So Davorka, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, Zeki. Hello, everyone. As Zeki said, my name is Davorka. I'm coming from Innovation Center Nikola Tesla from Croatia. I am DIH coordinator for our DIH called Krobo Hub. It is a digital innovation hub in robotics, Croatian digital innovation hub in robotics. Today I will, just let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it on not in the presentation mode, but
okay.
Now, yes.
Now it's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, so today I will briefly present you the benefits of DIHs and other associations, industry clusters, networks of becoming part of KITT4SME project in general, but also I will give you some hints how can you help us and help yourself if you want to apply for this particular open call. So as we already mentioned, DIHs are very important stakeholders for KITT4SME project, along with, of course, AI users and AI developers. DIHs are identified as the most important stakeholders. Today, people who are in DIH story, they know that the European Commission fosters DIHs and EDIs very much. So DIH is a main contact points for companies, especially SMEs looking for support in digitalization journey. European Commission fosters projects and innovation actions like KITT4SME to contact, to try to get together technology providers or solution providers or tech providers is the same, with manufacturing SMEs that will get help from tech providers to implement AI solutions that can prove their manufacturing, help them on the shop floor with their activities. In the KITT4SME ecosystems, as I said, they have an essential role because they are multipliers. Okay, DIHs are, by its definition, DIHs are like a one-stop shop for SMEs for the digitalization, but they are like a network, either official or unofficial, a network of various stakeholders, and DIH orchestrates everything. But as you can see, there are various stakeholders in this DIH ecosystem or DIH network. The most important at the moment for the KITT4SME projects are startups, SMEs, because we have some experiments to perform to implement some AI solutions, but also industry associations for other activities. Okay, briefly just to introduce you to our network. In our project, we have 4 partners DIHs, VTT from Finland, ART-ER from Italy, CSSC Spain, and ICEN from Croatia. We also have 3 regional innovation ecosystems, SUPSI from Switzerland, KITT from Italy, and WUT from Poland. But here in this slide, you can see our, all other partners have their own projects, networks. So you can see here that our network is actually very wide and strong. We have plenty of EU projects. Our project partners are partners in various EU networks, associations. We have several hundred stakeholders we can reach. So you can see that our network is EU-wide and huge. So if you, as a DIH or industrial association or cluster, want to be engaged in KITT4SME collaboration activities, you can benefit from it. Because, as I said, you will get access to a vibrant community. We have various stakeholders. We have huge network. Of course, you will get access to markets with geographical coverage and local language, because we have partners from all over the Europe. So you can access market you usually cannot, and you can contact people that talk local language. You can find new customers, additional revenue stream, of course, then access to knowledge and tools on the main trends on the AI solutions for SMEs. There is also possibility to offer new or upgraded services or services jointly with other DIHs, because we have plenty of DIHs in our network. So DIHs can join to offer some new service or upgraded joint service to offer to the industry and SMEs. Then building customized packages, tailor-made packages that include software and hardware to fit the specific need of some SME in your country or in other countries. So we offer tailor-made services for the SMEs, and of course training services of DIHs could be integrated into the platform offer. You will see that we develop and populate a platform, KITT4SME platform. So training services will be part of that platform. So if your DIH or association has some training services that these could be implemented in our platform offer. So if you're interested in engaging in our activities or cooperating with KITT4SME project, just contact us. Regarding this particular open call, how can you help us and how can we help you? So who can apply? We search for consortia consisting of obligatory one AI solution provider and one manufacturing SME as an end user, but additional partner, third partner, can be DIH or industry association cluster network, provided that it's not uni-owned. So private entities, private clusters and associations can be third partner in these consortia and get a portion of money to implement our experiments. So what we ask from you is to invite particularly manufacturing SMEs, but also tech providers in your network. We have very good feedback regarding tech providers, but we have some difficulties in reaching manufacturing SMEs. So please spread the word about our open call to manufacturing SMEs in your country, in your region, and ask them to apply for our open call. If they have or you have problems with finding partner to make a consortia, you can leave a profile to the matchmaking board. So we have matchmaking board if you click to this link, you will find a matchmaking board where you can leave the profile of your company. So you can matchmake with, I don't know if you're a manufacturing SME, you can matchmake with AI solution provider or vice versa. And all the necessary information about the open call you will find on our website. So that's it for now. I will just briefly, just let me, okay, this is how the board looks like. So if you click to the link, you will find a type B open call and posted profiles of companies that are looking for the partner to apply for our open call. So use it if you need it. Okay, thank you very much. This is all from my side.
Thank you, Davorka. Thank you a lot for the presentation explaining how they can help us and how we can help them from the point of view of a DIH view. So we are going to go to the next presentation, which Temis Kolivas from European Dynamics, who is also working as the open call manager in the KITT4SME project, will explain. So I think Temis is going to explain everything about what are the eligibility criteria and how it is important to find a partner, which we are going to go in the networking session, the brokerage session. I think you're going to underline all the points. Is that right, Temis?
I will try to. So thank you, Zeki. So good morning from my side. I'm Temis Kolivas. I'm from European Dynamics, and let's talk a little bit about the structure of the open calls and how to apply. I see that we're a little bit late, so I will try to avoid the repetitions. So you know that the concept of KITT4SME is to try to make feasible for manufacturing SMEs to get their hands on AI solutions. So we developed this platform that Giuseppe has described. So we also have pilot experiments like the one that Salvatore described in order to validate the idea of making this technical platform available to end users and for the AI solution developers to deploy their applications and create some value for the end users. So the open calls come into the overall scenario, let's say, in the sense that we try to open this platform and validate these ideas by engaging participants and entities that are outside our consortium. So the first round of the open calls was about validating the idea that the KITT4SME platform actually works and they can integrate their solution to the KITT4SME platform. So the first round of the open calls is now active and we have some good results, in my opinion, already. The second round of the open calls is going to focus on the viewpoint of the end user. So we want to validate the idea that the end user can benefit from this interaction with the AI solution developer and use this KITT4SME technical platform in order to orchestrate this interaction, customize their solution, and actually get their data and feed it to an AI application. So this is why in the second round of the open calls, we ask for a team that includes at least one solution provider and at least one manufacturing end user. Some of the main points from the first round of the open call still apply in the sense that we are still looking for new AI solutions. And these AI solutions should come from the topic of AI for discrete manufacturing. We will again ask you to integrate your solution to the KITT4SME platform and make it available to the marketplace. So our offering for this second round of the open calls is that we award with 200,000 euros each team of entities. And since we get a lot of questions about this, I try to answer it right now. So this funding is going to be in the form of a lump sum. But please remember that this cascade funding scheme is under Horizon 2020 actions. So all the rules that apply for Horizon 20 apply for this one as well. And you can find more on our frequently asked questions. So apart from getting funded to do this kind of activities or integrate your solution and deploy it to the field, we believe that you will gain, as an SME at least, as a technical provider, you will gain from the technical know-how of the technologies that Giuseppe described. So if you haven't exposed yourself or if you are not familiar with some of the technologies and the flow of how to integrate your solution and consume some data from the shop floor using fireware and all the techniques that Giuseppe described earlier, you will be exposed to these solutions and hopefully we can support you in this journey as well. You will also have the chance to join this ecosystem that we're building through our RAMP marketplace and get in contact with both solution providers and end users for a future uptake. So who can apply to this second round of the open calls? We're looking for teams, so you can apply as a team. Again, one technology developer and one end user at least. If you haven't found a match yet, please go to the matchmaking board as Davorka so very nice described. Register your profile or go through the profiles that are already registered there and try to contact one another so that you can create a team. All the entities must be SMEs or mid-caps established in one of the Horizon 2020 countries. And please also read the guide for applicants who have a conflict of interest clause there and try to not apply if you have been selected to Type A or are affiliated to the KITT4SME consortium. So in terms of what the AI solution should look like, we focus on the three main axes that drive our project. So these three main axes are AI for quality control, and we have an example of an application that we built from the project internal. So this is vision for quality excellence. The second one is reconfiguration of the production process. Again, we have a similar relevant example so that you can have an idea of how we approach this direction, this topic. And the third one is about human-machine interaction. One thing that is important to us is that you will need to run a pilot experiment in coordination with the end user. This means that the solution, your AI solution, needs to be mature enough so that it can be deployed to the shop floor and to the field. This means that it needs to have a high maturity level. We characterize it with a technology readiness level, so TRL 5 and above. And this is also a criterion, eligibility criterion, let's say. So you can see more about the services and the applications that we built in the project internal. So here we summarize them. You can read more in the guide for applicants, also on the information that we make available through our website. Please keep in mind that we try to find solutions that add some value to the KITT4SME project. In this sense, we mean that we try to avoid any overlaps between your solution and the solutions that we build within the project. Please keep in mind that your use case, so the pilot that you're going to run, focuses on a use case that is on the production side of the shop floor, so focuses on the shop floor and on discrete manufacturing. And in order to describe the boundaries of discrete manufacturing, we have used in the guide for applicants some nice codes. So please go to the guide for applicants, have a look at it, and please try to make a link, a connection of how your use case relates to one or more of these nice codes. So also, as a hint, please try to align with this big idea that we describe, and we describe it in the scope of the guide for applicants. So we're looking in this second round of type B, open calls, we're looking for industrial demonstrators that use the KITT4SME platform, and we mean that the new AI solutions use the KITT4SME platform in order to use the data from the shop floor and create some additional value. By reuse of existing solutions, what we mean is that we try to find solutions that are not too narrow in scope. We try to not solve some isolated or marginal problems of the industry, but we try to find solutions that can be reused by other end users. And again, this is because it creates some additional value and it has a larger potential, market potential. Again, if it wasn't clear enough, the end user needs to be a member of the team and provide their infrastructure in order to conduct this pilot experiment. So about evaluation, it is good to know how we intend to evaluate your proposal. So these are some of the points that you may want to emphasize on. 3 evaluation criteria: excellence, relevance to the project. The second one is impact and business opportunity. And the third one is about implementation. So about the first one, excellence and relevance to the project, you may want to look at it as an engineer, from the viewpoint of an engineer, or of the project itself. The KITT4SME project, I mean. And this could mean that what we will look for is to see how advanced or modern your AI solution is, so how close or beyond the state of the current state of the art you are. But always keep in mind that this needs to be of a high TRL level, because what matters to us is to see it actually deployed and applied in a pilot and in a use case. How relevant is it to the scope that we have described, so discrete manufacturing, and please try to align with one of the 3 axes of the KITT4SME project as well. And we are looking for solutions that try to add value to the project, so extend and but not overlap one of the solutions of the KITT4SME project. Second criterion, about the market opportunity. Maybe the end users can help in drafting this part. Try to think from the viewpoint of the end user. So how attractive is it for the end user, this end user or another one? Also try to think about the future use of your solution, so life cycle costs. And since essentially this cascade funding scheme is EU's, the way that EU invests in your solution, so try to show us that you also have an understanding and a plan on how to commercialize your solution in the future. Implementation. Of course, this is from a project management, let's say, perspective. We want to understand that you can identify all the pieces of work that you need to carry out, and you can put it in a work plan, so in a timeline. identify some risk mitigation actions, and you can persuade us that you have the capacity to actually perform and do this kind of work. Two main points that we will ask you to, two main activities that we will ask you to carry out during these actions. One is that you will need to integrate your solution to the KITT4SME platform. And the second one is that we will need to see that you can run a pilot experiment and everything works as envisioned. So please describe us the settings that show that the pilot is going to be structured this way. We have these technologies, this equipment, we plan to install these things so that we understand how you intend to set up the pilot, how you intend to set up the experiments, and what to expect during the testing phase, because of course we will have a validation and testing phase from our side as well. One last point, and this is an optional step. So this is something like a challenge that we address to you. We will award you with half a bonus point. So on top of the score that you collect from the previous 3 evaluation criteria, we open another challenge. So this challenge is related to the overall idea of the KITT4SME project. So the KITT part from the KITT4SME is about creating a new package. And the package means essentially a new service that is composed by at least two existing solutions. So when we open to you 2 solutions from the project, one is the fatigue monitoring system and the other one is AI for quality excellence. And we invite you to, if your solution, you think that it is close and you can create a new service that makes use of the results, or you can feed some data or results to one of these services, then maybe you can create a new package, so a new service around these existing applications. So you create some additional value on top of the value that your service and these services create. If you think that you can create a package, then you are invited to propose it to us. And we would like to see 2 things. One is, what is the business goal? So what are you trying to achieve by creating this new package? And the second thing is that we want to understand that what you are proposing actually works. So it makes sense technically. And of course, the solutions that we open to you are already integrated to the platform and of course comply with all the technical requirements that Giuseppe described. This is the timeline for the second round of the open calls. So the open calls have started on June 10. They are going to close on August 12th. We plan to award on 1st of November so that actions can start on February the 1st and run throughout 2023. We hope that everything will be final and ready by the first month of 2024. And this is a hard deadline in the sense that the project is about to end somewhere there. So how to apply? Of course, you visit our website, you download the proposal template. There are some instructions there that you can follow and submit your application through the proposal submission system. Of course, all the links are available through the website. We make available to you this KITT4SME abstract submission system, and it serves mainly 2 purposes. The first purpose is if you have a use case and you are, it is unclear to you, you're not sure that it is within the scope of KITT4SME, you can describe your idea, your use case, and send it to us. And we will reply to you of whether it is or it is not within the scope of KITT4SME. The second one is because in this second round of the open calls, we focus on discrete manufacturing. We describe the boundary by using these NACE codes. And if you feel that your use case still lies under the scope of discrete manufacturing, so it is discrete manufacturing, but it is, you cannot relate it directly to the one of the NACE codes, then we ask you to ask for a permission, let's say, so a pre-approval, by sending us your idea, describing the use case through the abstract submission system, so that we will make a note, and during evaluation we know that okay, it does not relate it does not have a one-on-one relation with one of the NACE codes that we described, but it is still okay for us and it qualifies as discrete manufacturing. So please take this pre-approval if you think that you cannot directly relate to one of the NACE codes that we describe in the guide for applicants. So essentially, that's it from my side. Please remember that our deadline is August 12th. And we also summarized some of the useful links here. Please try to read the guide for applicants carefully and also read our frequently asked questions. And don't hesitate to contact us via email, abstract@mission-system, to clarify any questions that you may have. So that's it. Thank you for now, and hope to see your applications.
Thank you very much, Temis. I think you covered the rules for participation of the open call in a very thorough way, so that we have anticipated most of the questions that will come up. Now we are going to start with the brokerage moment. We have less than 20 minutes because we are a little bit late, and I will explain briefly how it will work. We have created breakout rooms, so you will be assigned, you are already assigned. When I open the breakout rooms, there will be one breakout room for every manufacturing and user companies, and one for every DIH, multiplier, industrial association. So AI providers will be assigned to this room so that they can talk. Maybe you can find a match if you are looking for a demonstrator company, in order to create the mini consortia for participating in the proposal. We have made a pre-assignment, so you will see a button like join room, and you will be assigned to a particular room. After 5 minutes of this first, let's call it speed date, you have 5 minutes to talk very rapidly and to see if there is a match between the solution that you're offering as an AI provider and what are the needs of the companies that you're talking to, or to the network of companies that you're talking to. After 5 minutes, we will, let's say, free the circulation between the rooms. So you will be allowed to change your room, go somewhere else, and see if you can have a further conversation with other people. The idea is to support you, obviously, in this matchmaking between AI solutions and needs of the companies. Also pay attention, we will be broadcasting some messages, so they will appear and then disappear in your screen, saying, okay, now you can move through the rooms, or pay attention, in 2 minutes we are going to close all rooms. We will meet again in, I think, 15 minutes, more or less, for the Q&A session again here in the main room. So I'm opening the breakout room now. You should have a join button. And have a nice discussion. Okay, welcome back. I hope that despite some technical issues that we faced, you were able to have some conversation with potential partners for the consortium. We will also put the link to the matchmaking board. Some of the companies have already put their own say presentations on the matchmaking board. This is also a tool that we are offering in order to support you in building this consortia. And now we will go to the Q&A session. We have received already 5 questions, so we start from those ones, but then you will be allowed to open your mic and make any other question that you would like to have asked. So first question is, are public institutions, research institutes eligible, for example, either as AI solution provider or DIH? The answer is no. The only type of organizations that are eligible for funding are small and medium enterprises or mid-caps. You can participate if you have a spin-off of the university that is an SME, but the university itself cannot participate. It can even be a side, let's say, rule. The consortium need to have one AI provider, needs to have one manufacturing user, but then there could be a third partner, which can be a DIH, some system integrators. something that is needed for making that solution or that proposal, that action workable, but it still needs to be small or medium enterprise or mid-cap. Second question, is it necessary for the AI technology provider to be SME startup as well? Yes, it's in the same direction. What is the third question? What is the business model of that you apply for the marketplace? So here we need to make some kind of distinction between what happens during the execution of the action and what may happen if the platform go commercial. So let's start from the, let's say, I think most interesting thing for AI solution provider. In no way we are kind of interfering with the ownership of the solution by the AI solution provider. So we are, let's say, a platform for the aggregation of the solution, for creating the brokerage to the companies that can make use of your solution, but the ownership remains in the hands of the AI solution provider. Obviously, during the project, everything is for free. Should the platform go commercial, because obviously also as a project and as platform owners, we are developing our own exploitation strategy, and that may bring the platform further in the future into its commercial maturity, then things will obviously change. But let's say for the moment, everything is obviously for free, and the backbone of our idea is that the ownership remains in the hand of the AI solution providers, and we act as kind of brokerage platform. 4, can you say something about the size of mid-cap? Here, I would like to ask Demis to answer, because this is a tricky question. It's basically been addressed many times. There isn't a clear definition from the Commission, but we have found some identification of what's the size of a mid-cap. Demis?
I recently answered a very similar question. I was trying to see if we have this answer on the frequently asked questions. There is some legislation from the EU. We make reference to it. I'm afraid I don't have the answer at hand right now, but please send us an email and I will reply, and we will also update our frequently asked questions.
This is the reply. We put it in the chat, Demis, for you.
Okay, thank you.
So it's up to 499 employees in staff head count. Okay, in accordance with Article 3 to 6 of ANES. Okay, what are these articles? These articles are basically explain what's the rationale for aggregation of companies. When companies are controlled or controlling another company, you need to make sure that you are counting your employees and the turnover according to some rules. And these articles are actually explaining that. So you got also the annex in the link, and you can have more information there. 5, to whom do we address questions info about fatigue monitoring AI solution? Giuseppe has already answered. This is a solution developed by Supsi, so you can go directly to giuseppe.landolfi@supsi.com, or my address, andrea.bertoni@supsi.ch, so international. But in general, if you have any question, the most easy thing to do is to go at open call at
KITT4SME.eu.
At KITT4SME.eu, and any question that you have will be forwarded to the people who can actually provide you an answer. So it can be a question about an AI solution that you want to integrate, about eligibility, about whatever. You send it to open call at KITT4SME.eu, and we forward it to who has the answer. Then I saw something more coming up. Could you give a definition of small medium? Done already. Are the artificial intelligence solution and use cases that are already available on KITT4SME platform available as open source? Not all of them, not because we don't want to be open source. Okay, we have a GitHub repository that we are using, but for the moment we prefer to keep those solutions not in an open, say, shape. They will become open source for sure, but for the moment, still since they're still under development, we don't want to create. It's not even useful to make them open, and we don't want to create more, let's say, confusion. But they will surely be open. Okay. Yes, the presentation will be available. We have already collected them and we put them on the website so that they can be, there is a download section in the website, KITT4SME.eu, and you can find them there, I think, in 1-2 days.
Yes, in 1-2 days. Yeah.
If you have other questions, even without the chat, you can just open your mic now and open your camera and make your question. Okay, great. Otherwise, as said, you still have our email address. Zeki now is going to make a closing address with some useful information.
Yeah. So at this time we are ending the meeting. Thank you all for attending. It was a pleasure to meet you all. Some of you we have chatted, some of you we have previously emailed, but we can keep being in communication. So I'd like to give you a few things to say like this. We will be attending the I4MS brokerage event at the end of this month. So you will have the chance to meet with some other end users or AI providers. This link, I'm going to send it via chat and via email, so you can register for the event and find a broader range of partners.
Opportunities, because I4MS is bigger than us, so we are just one project out of many that are gravitating in I4MS.
Yeah. The second thing is that we would like you to encourage to leave a profile in the matchmaking board. You have been presented, so you can go to spaces.fundingbox.com and you can find us on Type B Open Call, and you can leave your profile so people can filter you as a manufacturer or solution providers. So you can also look for the other people's email addresses so you can get in contact with them directly. Not to mention that we are going to send you the presentations and these links after the event, accompanied by the recording of this event over YouTube. And by this time, you can always follow us on social media, from Twitter, from LinkedIn, and you need to know that all information is available on KITT4SME.eu. You can always refer to that. And of course, we have, you can redirect your questions to the open call at KITT4SME.eu, so we can see your questions. All the open call team can see your questions from the one single email address, and we are going to redirect your question to the relevant partner from the consortium, and your question will be replied promptly. So yeah, in this nutshell, I can say thank you for joining. I hope you find it useful, and we'll be waiting for your emails and hope to see you in the next events.
And in the project, in the Type B actions that will start next year on February. So I hope this was useful for you to get information. And yeah, have a nice day and have a nice journey in the artificial intelligence. Goodbye.
Bye all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.